Okay, so up till now we have discussed everything about the solution of linear differential equations, their types, and if the linear differential equation is not with the constant coefficient, the two main types we have discussed as the Cauchy's and Legendre's. Then, if we have a bunch of linear differential equation with constant coefficient as a simultaneous linear differential equations, then we have solved them for the dependent variable involved. And then lastly, we have discussed about symmetric simultaneous linear differential equations and their method of solutions, right? So I hope everyone is confident now about the solution of symmetric and simultaneous linear differential equations. If you are having any doubt, you can discuss those doubts in tutorial hours. I'll be discussing all those things if you have any doubt in those. Okay, so let us now proceed with the application of linear differential equations with constant coefficients to mainly to the electric circuits. Various applications we have discussed in M2 to the simple harmonic motion or the rectilinear motions or to the chemical problems or to the rate and decay problems, Newton's law of cooling problems, isn't it? But those are applications in several branches. So main applications in your branch is the application to the electric circuit, isn't it? That is very important. So here, mainly, actually there are several applications in mechanical also to the related to the simple harmonic motion or the motion related problems. So here, applications to the electric circuit mainly, as in mechanics, mechanics is governed by the Newton's laws, isn't it? There are various laws of Newton's in mechanics. So electric circuits are also governed by the special laws called Kirchhoff's laws, right? So we have studied in this section the simplest electric circuit in series circuit in which we have an EMF, electromotive force, which acts as a source of energy, such as battery or a generator, and a resistor, isn't it? Which uses energy such as an electric bulb or a toaster. So, as started in physics, the EMF is related to the current flow in the electric circuit. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So as started in physics, the EMF is related to the current flow in the circuit, right? The law says that instantaneous current, actually there is a famous law associated with this electric circuit, that is Ohm's law. What the Ohm's law says? Yes, any one of you? What is the statement of Ohm's law?
Potential difference is directly proportional to the current.
Yeah, potential difference is directly proportional to the current flow through the circuit, isn't it? That is instantaneous current, we can say. That is E equals to IR. A is directly proportional to I, and the proportionality constant will be the resistance. So that is E equals to IR, and that is Ohm's law. That is a very famous law related to the electric circuit, where R is the constant of proportion and is called a coefficient of resistance or simply resistance. The unit used are E in volts, I current in amperes, and the resistance is ohm. Isn't it? More complicated circuit contain few more elements like inductors and capacitors. An inductor opposes a change in current, right? What the inductor? Inductor is L, and that is rate of flow of current through the circuit, isn't it? So that inductor, what it does, it opposes the change in current. It has an inertia effect in electricity in the same way as mass has an inertia effect in mechanics, isn't it? So a capacitor is an element which stores energy, right? It acts as a battery. In physics, we speak of voltage drop across an element. In practice, we can determine this voltage drop, or sometimes known as potential drop or potential difference, by using a voltmeter. voltmeter, isn't it? Experimentally, the following laws are found to be hold. What are those laws? The first law, that is Ohm's law, we have discussed. The voltage drop across the circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through the circuit. If we consider a voltage drop across an inductor, then it proportional to what? Inductor voltage drop, if we denote it by E related to L, and this is E related to, say, R resistor, then voltage drop across the inductor is proportional to the rate of change of current, that is di by dt, right? So therefore EL is equals to what? L di by dt. So actually this L is the proportionality constant that is not equal to di by dt, is it? This is proportionality constant, and that is called inductance, right? And the third is related to the capacitor. What the law is? Voltage drop across capacitor, if we denote it by EC across capacitor, then that is proportional to what? Charge flowing through the circuit, Q, isn't it? And as we know, okay, anyways, then what is the proportionality constant here? That will be, as the voltage increases, capacitance will be decreases, so that will be equals to Q by C, right? Where C is the capacitance in the circuit. This is capacitance, which is acts as a acts like a resistance which opposes to the flow of charge. So capacitance. This is inductance, and this is resistance. So these are famous laws in electronics, electric circuit. We all know the units related to voltage, resistance, inductance, capacitance, current, charge. What is the unit for voltage or the EMF potential? Volt. Volt is the famous unit, right? And the unit for resistance is ohm, right? Ohm. Sometimes this volt is denoted by V only, and the resistance is denoted by like this notation, or omega, right? W. What is the notation and the unit for the inductance?
L.
Yes, L. And what is the unit? Henry. Exactly. And sometimes H only, Henry. And what is the unit for capacitance? Capacitance.
Farad.
Yeah, it is Farad. And what is the unit for the current? Current is measured in ampere, right? Ampere. And what is the unit for charge? Charge is measured in Coulomb, right? Coulomb. And there is a relation between current and charge. What is that relation? The current is nothing but what? Rate of, it is the rate of flow of charge. Current is the rate of flow of charge flowing through the circuit. And what the statement of Kirchhoff's law? There are two laws actually, but here for the formation of electric or the differential equation related to electric circuit, we use mostly Kirchhoff's voltage law, right? So what is that? Kirchhoff's law. What the Kirchhoff's voltage law says? It says algebraic sum of voltage drop. Please check, as you are ENTC students. I'm not ENTC student. So algebraic sum of voltage drop across circuit is what? Circuit, or we can say a loop, across electric loop is
0.
0, or we can say it is equal to the total electromotive force, right? If we add electromotive force with negative
Yes.
sign, then that will give 0. The total sum will be 0, because that equates with the remaining voltage drop, potential drops. If the circuit involving resistor and inductor, or resistor and capacitor, accordingly we consider there's sum of resistors or sum of voltage drops across their components used in the circuit. For example, there are various circuits like suppose if any circuit involving inductor or inductance and capacitance, then what will be there? Suppose if any circuit involving inductor and capacitor, then what the Kirchhoff's law says, algebraic sum of voltage drop. So what is voltage drop across inductor? Voltage drop across inductor is
LDI by dt.
LDI by dt, right? And what is voltage drop across capacitor? It is
Q by C.
plus Q by C. So algebraic sum, and if that circuit involves, suppose this is a circuit, this is inductor. I'm not good in drawing, but I hope this is correct. This is inductor, and this is suppose capacitor, right? And if we consider it without battery, then there is no electromotive force, so that equates to 0, right? Am I right? And if any electromotive force is there, then that will equate with that electromotive force. Suppose that it's E, then we will equate with E. Is this correct? The Kirchhoff's law related to inductor and capacitor circuit, IC circuit. If any circuit involves inductance, capacitance with EMF, then that is okay. This is the circuit. And if any circuit involving inductor, resistor, and capacitor, all the three components, suppose this is a circuit involving inductor, here it is capacitor, and if it have a resistor also, like this, along with the battery, then what is the voltage drops across these components? And accordingly the differential equation by Kirchhoff's law, algebraic sum of voltage drop. So voltage drop across inductor is LDI by dt, plus voltage drop across capacitor is Q by C, plus voltage drop across resistor is Ri, and that is equals to the total electromotive force, say E, suppose. So this is the differential equation associated with this circuit. This is the differential equation associated with this circuit. Is this clear to everyone? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So actually what we are going to do here, will be given some word problem related to the electric circuit. So firstly we are going to modulate them mathematically like this using the Kirchhoff's law, and then we will be solving with our previous knowledge we have discussed in for the solution of linear differential equation with constant coefficient. That's it. So that is only the thing, an application we are having as a application to the linear differential equation. So you can see this is the first example. It says a resistance of 50 ohm and an inductor of 2 henries and a 0.005 farad capacitor are all in series with an EMF 40 volt. Okay, so a resistance is given of 50 ohm, an inductor is given to be 2 henry, and a capacitor with capacitance 0.005 farad. along with the EMF, battery also given with 40 volt. So find the instantaneous charge. What we have asked to find, instantaneous charge Q, isn't it? Small q or capital Q, and the current I after the circuit switch is closed at t equals to 0. Is it? Assuming that at the time of charge on the capacitor, assuming at the time charge on capacitor is 4 coulomb. Initially the charge on capacitor is given to be 4 coulomb, and with the help of that we will be asked to find the instantaneous charge and current flowing through the circuit. So that is, let me add one slide into this. So firstly, what we have given? We have given the resistor, inductor and capacitor. So let us write the differential equation associated with this circuit. What is that? The differential equation associated with circuit is, let us draw the circuit so that you'll be able to write the equation. The circuit involves resistor, right? Its resistor is like this. Then inductor and a capacitor also given with a battery. I hope this is correct one, right? So let us write the differential equation associated with this circuit. What is the differential equation? Yes, voltage drops by Kirchhoff's law. Therefore, by Kirchhoff's laws, yes, voltage drop across resistor is Ri plus voltage drop across inductor is L di by dt plus voltage drop across capacitor is Q by C, right? Let us write small q, Q by C, and that is equal to the electromotive force, and that is given to be, what electromotive force is given to be 40 volt, right? 40 volt. So let us write here 40. Is this clear to everyone? The differential equation associated with this circuit? Hello?
Yes, sir.
If anyone having any doubt in formation of differential equation, please ask, because this is the only important step in this. Later, further things are very easy actually once we get the differential equation. So what we have asked to find the charge, isn't it? Instantaneous charge and then current. So what is the charge? Charge is Q. So let us write this total differential equation in terms of charge. As we all know that current I is nothing but what? The rate of flow of charge dq by dt. So let us substitute this value here. Therefore, the differential equation becomes, yes, R dq by dt plus L d by dt of I, that is dq by dt
dq by dt
plus q by c is equal to 40, right? So therefore we rearrange it. That will be L d2 q by dt square, second order operator, plus R dq by dt plus q by c is equal to 40, right? Where L is the inductance which is given, R is also given, C capacitance is also given. Let us substitute those values. So what is R given? R is 50 ohm. R is given to be 50 ohm. Inductance L is given to be 2 henries. and capacitance C is given to be how much?
0.00.
0.005 farad. So let us substitute these values here as these are all constant. So this is actually the linear differential equation. You can see here it is a linear differential equation with constant coefficient. What is the dependent variable here? What is the dependent variable involved in the differential equation? Tell me. Hello. What is the dependent variable? No one knows.
Charge Q.
Yes, exactly. See, the derivative of variable is nothing but what? Dependent variable. जिसका derivative होता है, that is nothing but the dependent variable. And with respect to variable जो होता है, that is independent variable. Always remember. So here the derivative is derivative of q. So dependent variable is q. So as we all know, the solution of differential equation is the value of dependent variable. That means इसका जो solution आएगा, that is the value of q will be in terms of independent variable, that is t. Plus q by c, where c is 0.005, is equal to 40, right? Let us, if we divide throughout by 2, then what it will be? It will be d2q by dt square plus 25 dq by dt plus, if I divide, then how much it is? 1, na? Or 10? 0.005 into 2. 0.1? Hello?
200.
If I divide it,
Sir, 100 Q.
100 cube, no?
100 आएगा ना?
Yes. Hundred q is equal to 40, because actually when we divide 2 into 0.005 will be 0.01, isn't it? And 0.01 is nothing but 100. 1 upon 0.01 actually. 40 upon 2, that is 20, na? On the right hand side. So that is a differential equation with constant coefficient in q. Can you solve now further for q? So if we substitute the
Yes.
operator capital D here, what it will be? It will be get converted into capital D form, d square plus 25d plus 100 times q is equal to 20. So its solution is the value of q, which is complementary function plus particular integral. What is complementary function? Can you find the roots?
C1 e raised to minus 5t plus
Okay.
C2 e raised to minus 20t.
Just a minute. Let me write. Complementary function is c1 e to the power minus 5t
Minus 5t plus C2 e raised to minus 20t.
minus 20t. Okay. And the particular integral is 1 upon 5 of t, that is d square plus 25d plus 100 times 20. So as 20 is constant, we can apply the shortcut for exponential. What it says for the constant function, what we are doing? We are replacing d by, yes, for the
0.
constant function we replace, yes,
Sir,
0.
in spite of 20, I think it was 40. on the right hand side.
No, actually, 40 by 2, no? They're dividing
Oh,
both
ha,
sides.
ha. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Got it.
So therefore, for 20, we substitute d by 0 as it is constant. So what it will be? 100 by 1 by 100 into 20, that is 1 by 5. Okay, so therefore, finally, the value of Q is what? CF plus PI. So CF is C1 e to the power minus 5t plus C2 e to the power minus 20t plus 1 by 5. Is this clear to everyone up to this step? So this is actually the
Yes, sir.
instantaneous charge flowing through the circuit, but as they have given the initial condition, initially. So as we all know, what is the charge flowing through the circuit initially? That is given actually 4 coulomb, right? At t equal to 0. So let us use that condition. Uh, Actually, what we can do when we differentiate this with respect to t, that will be a current, right? I is equal to dq by dt, and that is equals to what? Minus 5c1 e to the power minus 5t minus 20c2 e to the power minus 20t and plus 0. Isn't it? And now if we use the initial condition, then we'll get the two equations in C1 and C2. We can solve these two equations for C1 and C2, and then when we substitute, we will get exact charge flowing through the circuit. So let us now use the initial conditions at t equal to 0. What is the current flowing through the circuit? I think current is 0, right? And the charge is given to be 4. Is this clear? At t equal to 0, current is always 0, no? Initially the current is 0
Yes, sir.
and charge must be
Yes.
4 coulomb, that is given to us in the problem itself. So when we substitute these initial conditions into this, so for t equal to 0, q is given to be 4. So 4 is equals to, on the right hand side, c1 plus c2 plus 1 by 5, right? At t equal to 0, because sorry, e to the power 0t, so that is 1. So what is C1 plus C2 equals to then? C1 plus C2 equals to 4 minus 1 by 5. So how much is it? How much it is? 19 by 5, no? Is it? And then from the current equation at t equal to 0, current is 0. So 0 equals to minus 5C1 minus 20C2. So that is C1 plus C2. If I take minus 5 common, that will be 4, no? Plus 4C2 equal to 0, no? Am I right? If I take minus 5 common, so this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. If we solve these two equations for C1 and C2, what are the values of, if we subtract 1 from 2, then 4C2 minus C2, 3C2. 3C2 is equal to minus 19 by 5, no? Hello? Please check the values, huh? And check the calculations also. I'm discussing here only the method. I may uh, there may be the mistake in the calculations. You just check those mistakes. So C2 is equals to minus 19 by 15, right? And if I substitute the value of C2 here in equation 1, then what I'll get? C1 is equals to 19 by 5 plus 19 by 15. How much it is?
5.07.
5.07, right? Just check, huh? All right. So C1 and C2 we have now. So with this C1 and C2, the charge and current becomes Q is equals to C1, that is 0.5.07 e to the power minus 5t, plus C2, that is minus 19 by 15 e to the power minus 20t plus 1 by 5. This is the instantaneous charge flowing through the circuit. And the current will be I is equals to minus 5 C1. So minus 5 into 5.07 e to the power minus 5t minus 20 into C2, that is minus 19 by 15 e to the power minus 20t. Is this clear to everyone? So this is the instantaneous charge and current flowing through the circuit, and that is a solution of the given given circuit, or we can say the associated differential equation. Hello, I want replies from you all. Is this clear to everyone, or
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay? In case any doubt, please ask, and please clear your doubts. Let's have one more. Question 2. An inductor of 0.5 henries, an inductor of 0.5 henries, so L is 0.5, and is connected in a series with resistor of 6 ohms. So R is given to be 6 ohm, and a capacitor of 0.02 farad. 0.02 farad. A generator having alternative voltage given by 24 sine 10t. So voltage, can say E is given by 24 sine of 10t, where t is positive. So they have asked, set up a differential equation associated with this circuit. Set up a differential equation for the instantaneous charge on the condenser. Set up a differential equation for the instantaneous charge on condenser, and find the charge and the current at time t if the charge on capacitor is 0 when the switch is closed. So at initially t equal to 0, charge q is equal to 0 given. I is always 0, right? So use this. So see, if the initial conditions are given, then we have to find the values of arbitrary constants involved. If the initial conditions are not given, then we don't need to find. We can get the values of a required dependent variable as a charge or current in terms of CIs, arbitrary constants. But if the initial conditions are given, we have to use and we have to get the values of arbitrary constants. So can you set the differential equation associated with this? The same, right? Same differential equation associated with the circuit. So the potential drop across the inductor is L di by dt. Across the resistor is Ri, plus across the capacitor is Q by C. and that is equal to the electromotive force, that is 24 sine of 10t. If we substitute the values of these L, R, C, E, then what the differential equation is? That is 0.5 into di by dt. See, we can substitute these values at the last also. We can firstly solve the differential equation. We will get the value of dependent variable in terms of independent variable involving these L, R and C. Then we can substitute those values, or we can substitute initially also, as like we are doing here. So 0.5 into di by dt plus R, 6 into I plus Q by C, that is 0.02 is equal to 24 sine of 10t.
नाही ते फक्त सही शिकवायचे ना नाही तिकडून म्हणजे काय ते सँक्शन ऑर्डर्स ना.
So as we have asked to find the charge and the current, let us write first of all differential equation in charge. So the equation becomes 0.5 into d square q by dt square, as I current is the rate of flow of charge dq by dt, plus 6 dq by dt plus q by c, that is 0.02, is equal to 24 sine of 10t. Let us now simplify this. So that is d square q by dt square plus 6 by 0.5. So how much it is?
12.
12 dq by dt plus how much it is? 1 upon 0.5 into 0.02. That is again 100, right?
100.
Into q is equals to how much is this? That is 240 upon 5, na? That is 48. Is this? See, 224 upon 0.5. That means 240 upon 5. That is 48. Please check calculations. So this is the differential equation associated with this, and which is purely linear differential equation with constant coefficient, right? And we know how to solve, how to proceed further for the value of dependent variable, that is q is equals to cf plus pi. So please tell me the value of cf, or the value of t at least. So the capital D form associated with this is d square plus 12d plus 12d plus 100 times q is equals to 48 sine of 10t, right? So what are the roots here? Can you tell me the roots?
-6 plus or minus 8i.
Plus 8i. Okay. So with this, the complementary function, as the roots are complex, imaginary roots, therefore
e raised to minus 60.
Minus 60.
c1 cos 80 plus c2 sin 80.
Very good. C2 sine 8t. And the particular integral is 1 upon 5 of d, that is d square plus 12d plus 100 operated on the right hand side function, that is 48 sine of 10t. So we can take 48 outside into 1 upon d square plus 12d plus 100 operate on sine 10t. So what the rule says, what the sine rule says?
Replace d square by minus a square.
Yeah, so replace d square by minus 100 square. Sorry, minus 10 square, not 100 square. Right? So that is minus 100. So what it will be there for? Pi equals to 48 into 1 upon minus 100 plus 12d plus 100, that is operated on sine of 10t. So minus 100 plus 100 will get cancelled. And 48 upon 12 into 1 upon d operated on sine of 10t. And 1 upon d means what? That is
Integration.
Integration.
So 4 times integration of sine 10t dt. So that is 4 into minus
Minus
cos of
cos 10t upon 10.
10. Right? So that is 2 by 5 minus 2 by 5 cos 10t. So with this, the expression for q is equals to, therefore let me add some things. So therefore q is equals to CF plus PI. What is CF? E to the power minus 6t C1 cos 8t plus C2 sin 8t and plus PI, that is minus 2 by 5 sine of 10t. Is it right? Minus 2 by 5 10t. Sorry, cos, no? So this is the charge, but that is in terms of arbitrary constant Ci's. So how do we get the values of these Ci's, arbitrary constants? With the help of initial conditions. But to get to use the initial conditions, we should have at least two equations. So to get the second equation, that is differentiated. So I is equals to dq by dt. So we'll have to use the product rule here. Minus 6 e to the power minus 6t into c1 cos 8t plus c2 sin 8t, and the derivative of this is minus plus 4 na 4 sin 10t, right? Because 2 by 5 into 10, is it right?
Yes, sir.
So that is the expression for I. And now at t equal to 0, initially charge is given to be 0 as well as current is also 0, and therefore these two expression becomes 1 and 2 becomes 0 is equals to C1, right? Only C1 minus 2 by 5, right? So that implies C1 is equals to, यहीं से हमें C1 का value मिल गया, that is 2 by 5. And what about C2? We can even substitute this C1 value into itself Q only to get the value of C2. But anyways, from the current at t equal to 0, 0 equals to minus 6 into, oh sorry, here I forgot to take the derivative, right? Just a minute. This is the wrong expression I've written here. Product rule says u derivative of u into v plus u, that is e raised to minus 60 into derivative of v, that is minus 8 c1 sin 8t plus 8 c2 cos 8t, right? And plus 4 sin 10t. Please check the calculations again. And now at t equal to 0, minus 6 into 1, and this is C1. And this will be 0 because sine 0, and plus this is 1 into this will be 0, and this is 8 C2. 8 C2. and at the last again that will be 0, right? Because sine 0 0. So यहाँ से we get the equation minus 6c1 plus 8c2 equal to 0. So let us substitute the value of c1, that is 2 by 5. So minus 6 into 2 by 5 plus 8c2 equal to 0. So how much is this? Minus 12 by 5. So 8c2 is equals to 12 by 5.
3
So
by
c2 is
10.
equals to, is it 3 by 10? 10? 10 or what?
Yes, 10.
10, okay. Was yes, 10. 3 by 10. So with these C1 and C2, the expression for instantaneous charge Q becomes Q is equal to e to the power minus 60 into C1, that is 2 by 5 cos 8t, plus C2, that is 3 by 10 sin 8t, minus 2 by 5 cos 10t. Is it 8 here? Please check. Is this 8? Yes. Oh, sorry. It is 8 and this is 10, right? Perfect. So we have asked to find the current also, right? No, that was the first one. Yes. So we can write the expression for current also from this. Is this clear to everyone? Hello. Please do reply.
Yes, sir.
If you have any kind of doubt, any single simple doubt, please get clear your doubts. This is the last topic. Here we conclude the first unit, unit number 1. No doubt. Very good. And this is the example just now we have seen. Then, and you can see the third example. An electric circuit consists of an inductance of 0.1 Henry, resistance of 20 ohms, and a condenser of capacitance 25 microfarad. If the differential equation, here the differential equation is also given, isn't it? So we don't need to modulate mathematically. Mathematical modulation is given to us. So sometimes it is given, sometimes not. So we always be ready in worst case. Then find the charge, and actually it is not difficult also, hai na? We can easily get the differential equation with the help of Kirchhoff's law. So find the charge and the current at any time t, given that at initial t equal to 0, Q is 0.05 and current is 0. So I request for you all to take a screenshot of this and submit this as a homework, today's homework. Take a screenshot of this. Third one and fourth one. Take a screenshot of this example number 3 and example number 4. Is this clear to everyone? Homework, example 3 and 4.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let us now take a complete overview of the whole unit we have discussed. See carefully. We have started with the linear differential equation, right? Linear differential equation. We have mainly discussed the two types of linear differential equations, mainly, that is linear differential equation with constant coefficient, that is of the form phi of d into y is equal to f of x, right? Here I'm writing with constant coefficient, and here with variable coefficient, right? And there are two types we have discussed with variable coefficient, that is one is Cauchy's and second is Legendre's. What kind of coefficients are there in Cauchy's? In Cauchy's, the coefficients are in powers of, yes? In Cauchy's, the coefficients are in powers of x only, right? So we substitute to that x is equal to e to the power z, and hence z becomes log x. So with this, the substitutions for the first order, that is x dy by dx becomes capital dy, x square d square y by dx square becomes d square minus dy, right? Where in all these, what is the value of d? D is derivative with respect to new variable z, right? And here in Legendre's, what kind of
Ax.
coefficients are there?
Ax plus b equals to e
Yes, so
raised
we
to b.
substitute to those ax plus b as an exponential function, and with this z becomes log of ax plus b. Clear? So with this ax plus b dy by dx becomes a into dy, right? And so on, where this capital D is again the value with respect to derivative with respect to z. So with all these substitutions, what we are doing, we are converting these Cauchy's and Legendre's into this form with constant coefficient, right? LD with constant coefficient, with new variable, new independent variable z. And then we have discussed the method of solution of linear differential equation with constant coefficient as a general solution. Its solution is the value of dependent variable, that is y, which is called the general solution or the complete solution, which is complementary function plus particular integral, right? Where the complementary function is the solution of what? Homogeneous differential equation, right? Homogeneous differential equation means from in the given differential equation, right hand side 0, that is phi of d into y is equal to 0. We solve this homogeneous differential equation by considering its auxiliary equation. See, each and every term I am discussing again because those terminologies are very important as a homogeneous differential equation or the auxiliary equation. So what is the auxiliary equation here? Phi of d equal to 0. We solve this auxiliary equation and we get the values of d, and based on the values of d or the nature of values of d, we have the complementary function formula. So there are four natures we have discussed mainly. If the roots are real and distinct, then what is the formula for the complementary function? CF is equal to, suppose
C1
m1
e
m2,
raised to x plus it.
suppose m1 m2 mn are the roots, then the formula is c1 e to the power m1x plus
M1.
c2 e to the power m2x, and so on, right? For the real and distinct root. If the roots are repeated, suppose m1 equal to m2, first two roots are repeated and the rest roots are not equal. So in case of real and equal root or a real and repeated root, if m1 is equal to m2, then what is the complementary function? CF is equal to c1 plus c2x e to the power m1x plus the remaining is for non-repeated, that is c3 e to the power m2x plus and so on. If the roots are complex, just now we have seen the formula for complex distinct root of the form alpha plus minus I beta. As complex numbers are always come in pair, there will be accordingly the arbitrary constant. So what is the complementary function? CF is equal to e to the power alpha x into c1 cos beta x plus c2 sin beta x, where x is the independent variable. So this independent variable changes accordingly the given differential equation. And the last one is if the roots are complex and repeated. Suppose alpha plus minus I beta repeated twice. Then how do I write the complementary function? CF is equal to, yes, e to the power alpha x into c1 plus c2x
C1
cos, yes, cos beta x plus c3 plus c4x sin beta x. So this is all about the complementary function. We have discussed in detail. Right. Then we have started with the particular integral. Right? Particular integral mainly we have started with the formula that is 1 upon phi of d into the right hand side function f of x. We have discussed the three methods of solution of particular integral. What are those? First one is general, then shortcut, and the third one is variation of parameter method, right? Out of these three methods, the last variation of parameter method have its own importance because that would be specifically asked in exam, solved by method of variation of parameter. So what the general method says, general method is applicable to all. That is why the name is general. In general, we can apply. So what the main formula in general is what? 1 upon phi of d, that is 1 upon suppose d minus m into f of x. Then its formula is
is to ax integration of mx integration of minus mx f of x dx.
yes, f of x dx. Very good. And the same formula we are using repeatedly according to the number of we can say the solutions or according to the order of differential equations. Right? If it is plus m here, then the formula becomes e to the power minus mx integration of e to the power plus mx f of x dx. Then we have discussed about the shortcut, what the shortcut method says. In shortcut method, we have discussed 6 to 7 different shortcut formulas.
7.
Yes. The first one is for the exponential function a raised to a. Actually, the shortcut method is completely based on this right hand side function. This one. Based on this right hand side function, what kind of this function? Accordingly, we select the method. So if the right hand side function is of out of these 6 to 7 methods, then we can apply the shortcut. Otherwise, we go for the general. So what the shortcut says, for fx to be exponential function, we have a keyword that is we replace d square d by a, right? Provided that 1 upon phi of d must be non-zero, or that should not be the case of failure. In case of failure, what we do? We multiply this operator.
Independent variable.
Yes, we multiply this different integrating operator by independent variable, and we go on taking derivatives of dependent denominator phi of d. Till and until we'll get the non-zero denominator. So जितनी बार डेरिवेटिव लेंगे हम उतनी बार independent variable से multiply करते जाएंगे. Okay, so that is what the main case. Then secondly, we have discussed about sine or cos. If it is sine ax or cos ax, then what is the keyword there? We replace d square by minus times a square. Okay. Let me tell you all that we are replacing minus times a square, not like this minus of a and square, because habitually we are doing this, but that is wrong. Remember, minus times a square we are replacing. Then the third one, when fx is hyperbolic cos or hyperbolic sine function, then what we do? We replace
d square by plus a square.
Yeah, d square by plus times plus a square. Or there is alternate method we have discussed.
Exponential.
We can write a sine and cos in terms of exponential function, and then we can use this first case only, right? Where sine of hyperbolic ax can be written as e to the power ax minus e to the power minus ax upon 2, and the cos hyperbolic ax can be written as e to the power ax plus e to the power minus ax upon 2, right? So with this hyperbolic sine and hyperbolic cos becomes exponential in terms of exponential, and then we can use the case of exponential to get the particular integral. Then later we have discussed the case for the polynomial function fx is equal to x raised to m. What it says, we write this 1 upon phi of d x raised to m, and we expand this 1 upon phi of d using the mainly two formulas, 1 upon 1 plus p or 1 upon 1 minus p, right? 1 upon phi of d we are using, and we are expanding mainly with the help of these formulas by Taylor's or Maclaurin's expansions. What is the expansion of this? 1 upon 1 plus p can be written as 1 minus p plus p square minus p cube. Alternate plus minus signs. And if it is minus in the denominator, then all the terms are positive. 1 plus p plus p square plus p cube plus and so on. That's it. And we go on expanding up to the degree of given polynomial. If the degree of polynomial is 2, then we will consider the terms of up to power 2 only. Okay, d cube and further all terms will be neglected because d is the derivative, and if we have a polynomial of degree m, then m plus 1th derivative of that polynomial will be 0. That is why we are neglecting those powers. I hope the point is clear to everyone. If you are facing any problem in getting the concepts, please let me know. I can explain in detail. Then we have proceeded with the next case, case number 5, for the composite function when fx is the function of the form e to the power ax into v, right? So what we do there, we write the exponential function. Let me write here 1 upon phi of d e raised to ax into v can be written as, yes, we write the exponential function outside.
D plus a.
No, actually, firstly we write the exponential function outside, and then we replace d
1
by d
upon
plus
phi of d plus a into v.
into v, and then we proceed according to the form of v, right? This is the 5th case, and then case number 6, as a combination of x into v, it says 1 upon phi of d x into v is equal to x minus phi dash, that is derivative of phi upon phi of
d.
The whole times 1 upon phi of
1
d
upon phi of d into v.
operated on v, and then we proceed according to v, right? So this is about 6th one, and the 7th one also we have discussed. I'm writing here. The 7th case says when fx, the right hand side is say x raised to m hyperbolic, sorry, not hyperbolic, x raised to m into sine ax or x raised to m cos ax, then we convert these given functions into exponential, right? Right? How do we convert? We convert, that is, we write, let me, where do I write the formulas? Can I write here in the top, so that you can take a screenshot of this slide? Can I write at the top? So 1 upon phi of d x raised to m sine ax can be written as, how do I write? It is imaginary part, na? It is imaginary part of 1 upon phi of d x raised to m into e raised to I ax. Please check. And similarly for cos, that is, if it is 1 upon phi of d x raised to m cos ax, then how do I write? It is real part, right? Real part of 1 upon phi of d x raised to m e to the power I ax. We have discussed this case or not? Have we discussed this case in the regular class? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So we just go through the examples I have given. See, I have given the examples, all examples based on all these methods. So you can try those questions, and even I've uploaded the question bank on my blog also. You can see my blog, that is Varpe Sachin, VARPE SACHIN Sachin .blogspot.com. This is continuation, blogspot.com. Okay? You can get all those notes, question banks, even some question banks for the internal exams also. Okay? And even the formulas also are uploaded on the blog. can get all these. Then after this shortcut, we have discussed about the method of variation of parameter. Method of variation of parameter is completely based on the complementary function, right? Complementary function. So to find the particular integral, first we find the complementary function, and if it is of the form c1 y1 into plus c2 y2, then we assume our particular integral to be u y1 plus v y2, right? Where the value of u is what? What is the value of u? U is integration of
Minus
y2
y2
into the right
f
hand
of
side
x
function upon
W.
Wronskian with respect to x, and the value of v is integration of y1
f
into the
of
right hand
x
side function upon Wronskian, where the value of Wronskian w is what? W is the determinant of
determinant
y1,
y1
y2 and their derivatives
y1 dash.
y1 dash, y2 dash. So with these three formulas of u, v, w, we can get the value of u and v, and hence by substitution of u and v into this pi, assumed pi, we get the final particular integral, and therefore the general solution will be cf plus pi with the help of variation of parameter. That's it. This is all about the method of solution of LD with constant coefficient. Is this clear? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
If you have any doubt in any of these methods, you can ask me in the tutorial hour at Monday. Okay, I'll be explaining those. And now I'll be uploading the first tutorial assignment today. You have to actually, in the last tutorial we have solved almost 50% questions. So I request you all to continue those questions with some remaining questions, and you have to again resubmit those complete assignment. Okay, that complete assignment as a tutorial assignment 1. Okay, on the whole unit. Is this point clear to everyone? For 10 marks. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Shall we stop here now? Yes.
सर आई गेस आपने 7th जो शॉर्टकट बताया था ना उसके लिए एग्जांपल एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया था.
ओके ओके, वही मैं सोच रहा था एक्चुअली कि बट मेथड तो हमने डिस्कस किया है, राइट?
हाँ सर, आपने
मेथड एंड
एक्सप्लेन किया
फॉर्मूलाज,
था तो
बट शायद
लेक्चर खत्म हो रहा था, आप बोले दूसरे लेक्चर में कंटिन्यू करेंगे तो वहां पे स्टॉप हो गया था, नया टॉपिक शुरू हो गया था.
sorry, then we'll have to discuss one example. Do we have right now time? Actually it's time, but anyways we'll discuss one example definitely in our next tutorial lecture. Please remind me. Okay, we'll discuss
Yes, sir.
one or two examples. Definitely I'll discuss. So it's actually 4. I'm sorry for the extra time taken, but I'll have to complete today. So this is the end of this first unit. I'll submit I'll upload the first tutorial assignment today only, and the date of submission will be by the end of this Saturday. Will it be okay to everyone? Because almost 70% questions we have solved, only 2 to 3 questions based on these applications remain. So we'll submit on or before this Saturday the first tutorial assignment. Everyone, please do reply.
Okay, sir.
Or today only. If you want to submit today, then you can submit.